Welcome back to Total Extreme Wrestling 2020. My name is Alex, and I am playing Sunday, week 1 of January 2006. So this is episode 3 with already our first pay-per-view for the Raw brand, that being WWE New Year's Revolution 2006. So a quick note about this one, there's only been a week of build to this show due to the way that the mod is set up, that this pay-per-view hits almost immediately. So I'm basically treating this as an extended special episode of television more than a pay-per-view, unfortunately, just because there hasn't been enough time to really develop stories to the point where we can, I think, make this show special. But I've given it a try anyway. As I say, just don't get your hopes up too much in terms of segment ratings, because there's still a lot of work to do in terms of story, characters, general popularity of the workers, and that sort of thing. So with that in mind, here we go. So New Year's Revolution 2006, we open this pay-per-view with Vince McMahon. A quick segment here where he is seen greeting a mystery guest in his office. So just a little tease potentially of things to come, a little bit of intrigue here, and again with this pay-per-view coming so suddenly in the running order here of this campaign, if you like, it'll be necessary, I think, to insert whatever storytelling I can throughout this pay-per-view. Obviously, just try to keep it as short as possible so as not to disappoint the crowd who are expecting some big matches on this show. Again, it's a quick way of sowing the seeds of various angles that are going to be developing across the Raw brand, and we'll see more of this kind of thing as the evening transpires. So, on to the next segment. Okay, next we have a special guest ring announcer, Hulk Hogan, who's introducing Jerry Lawler for a match coming up right now. So a quick cameo here from Hulk. Of course, we saw Hogan and Lawler have an exchange backstage at Raw where they shook each other's hand. This is just a follow-up to that, really, where Hogan is essentially opening the pay-per-view here and introducing Jerry Lawler, who we know he's got kind of a burgeoning interest in at the moment. So it'll be interesting to see where these two go from here. But as it is, we've got Jerry Lawler in a match right next to kick off our pay-per-view. And there you have it. So Jerry Lawler defeats Rob Conway in a short match here. Goes over with the pile driver, nice and simple. So not a particularly great match, but of course this just pays off the angle that we had on Raw, where Rob Conway came out. He was disrespecting the old timers, and Jerry here kind of rose from the commentary desk and put Rob Conway in his place. And that kind of plays out here as well, where we've just got ourselves a quick match to cap off that story with a nice victory for Jerry. So not a particularly great match, but the segments preceding it and bookending it we expect to be much better, as Hogan now comes back to the ring here and raises Lawler's hand, and the pair of them pose for the fans. So a nice team up here between Hulk and Jerry. As I say, a little story that's kind of kicking off, and that match just an appetizer really for what's going to transpire between these two. So nice stuff there from Jerry and Hulk as we continue to our next segment. Okay, so getting a little bit more serious now, we've got ourselves a tag match, and we've got Gregory Helms and Shelton Benjamin defeating Goldust and Eugene in a nice long tag match here, with Helms getting the pin. So a little bit of background here. So this was a match really to pad out the card. Like I said, storylines haven't really kicked in for a lot of the mid-card workers yet. We are getting there, and this is a way, unfortunately, of just padding out the show with a match with some capable workers. One of the problems we do have here, that Goldust is getting penalised pretty heavily at the moment for his Inner Funk attribute. So I don't think there's anything we're going to be able to do about that. So I don't have any plans for Goldust being in any kind of feature role here anytime soon, just because of that. I just don't know how to overcome that attribute. I'm not experienced enough with the game to do so. So for that reason, Goldust takes the L here and just puts over our boy Greg, who we do have plans for. And like I say, a way of getting a match on the show with some capable workers. So Goldust kind of dragging things down a bit there, unfortunately, but a means to an end. We got Greg Helms and Shelton the win, which is the most important thing, and we continue on to the next segment from here. Okay, So now we've got Tommy Dreamer, who has arrived from developmental, and he's saying that he'll take on Umaga in a handicap match if Armando has the guts to accept. And also joining with him is Francine, who makes her debut here, managing Tommy Dreamer for the moment here in a quick segment. So a little bit of background to this: Tommy Dreamer. In the mod, kind of an event in between shows, was requested that he gets brought up to the main roster, and I said, you know what, Tommy, I've got just the spot for you. So Umaga is set to the debut, of course, on this pay-per-view, as was teased on Raw, and he is going to need a match, something simple to kind of break him in and kind of get settled here. And so who better than Tommy Dreamer, who inadvertently kind of raised his hand for that one. So thanks, Tom. We'll get you in a hardcore match coming up next if Armando is brave enough to accept. And of course, this is just a little opportunity as well to debut Francine as a new manager character who I was quite keen to introduce. And there we go. We've got the Queen of Extreme herself, who's got herself a really great rating on the gimmick. So good stuff here, hopefully from Francine, and we can use her in storylines and matches in the future. So, but we're not quite done. So, next segment here. Look who it is. Ric Flair, who flirts with Francine after Dreamer leaves, and Francine says she hasn't signed a client yet. So, interesting little development here. Just as Dreamer heads out to the ring to face Umaga, Ric Flair has shown up on pay-per-view, and he has approached Francine there, as the Nature Boy is wont to do. But Francine says that, well, maybe she's not managing Dreamer yet. She's still making up her mind. So interesting stuff here with Francine and Rick, who is also getting penalised quite heavy for various things at the moment. So we'll have to take that into account as well. Rick still, of course, got quite a lot of heat and kind of potential to use in storylines, but we'll have to see how badly this attribute affects his performance. So this is a bit of a trial by fire for Rick here to see if he can still hang with this kind of going on over his head. So we'll see what transpires between Ric Flair, Francine, as we continue the show here. So on to the next segment. And here we go. So Armando Estrada is debuting Umaga here and accepts Dreamer's challenge to a hardcore match. So there you have it. So Jonathan Kirchman interviewing Armando Estrada, who debuts the fearsome Umaga, who will be in action right now against Tommy Dreamer. So so not a particularly great rating here, and that's again just due to the lack of overness from the players involved, but it's a work in progress and you've got to start somewhere. So that somewhere is right here. So Umaga getting himself the Samoan Savage gimmick that we kind of know for him, which has got a good rating as well. So it looks like we've got some nice bonuses there that we can use as well. So all good stuff on that front. Okay, then on to the match itself. So not a particularly great rating here again, and that's mainly because of the overness ratings of the people involved. Was going to have a heavy penalty, but it's just something we're going to have to fight through, like I've said before, and see what we can do. So this very much, quite obviously here, is a quick squash for Umaga. Nice note here that we've got Umaga and Armando Estrada, who have pretty good chemistry together as a manager and worker combo, so that is good news for sure. And then we've got ourselves, like I say, just a quick squash match for Umaga. We've got Tommy Dreamer taking a quick shortcut here to try and get the match over. Not a particularly great rating, unfortunately. As I say, it was probably just a little bit too much to overcome that lack of overness, especially because Dreamer hasn't been featured before. But it accomplished what it needed to do. A very dominant win here for Umaga. Makes a statement, makes the point. And like I say, hopefully it's something we can build up to afterwards, story-wise. And then in the next segment, we're improving things a little bit now already, as Umaga beats down Dreamer after the bell. So Umaga's not finished with Tommy Dreamer. He's taken a big bump, maybe collapsed off the stage, powerbomb through a table, who knows. So the big bump has happened. Tommy Dreamer's down and out, but Umaga's not done. He's going after Dreamer, and then what do we get happening next? Well, Gregory Helms shows up on the scene, and he rescues a cornered Francine as a distracted Umaga hammers down Dreamer. So remember, Francine was at ringside with Dreamer, kind of as his prospective manager, and Umaga, who approaches a cornered Francine here with Tommy Dreamer down and out. What do you know? Gregory Helms all of a sudden shows up on the scene, rescues Francine, takes her by the hand, gets her out of there, and then Umaga, distracted by Dreamer still, kind of goes back to his beatdown. So, interesting development here with Gregory Helms rescuing Francine out of nowhere. And Umaga, of course, looking very dominant once again. So, nice improvements here to the segment ratings already. So, hopefully, this will have its effect in kind of getting Umaga over and giving us a new storyline seed for Gregory Helms and Francine there. So, what's going to happen? We will just have to stay tuned and find out. So, there you have it. Okay, moving on. So, we've got Grisham interviewing Trish Stratus, who insists that her and Mickie are enemies tonight. So this is following on from the Trish and Mickie saga on Raw. Mickie James still very besotted with Trish and was really looking forward to wrestling her at the pay-per-view. And Trish is kind of taking a very hardline stance here and saying, "Look, Mickie, we are not friends while you are challenging for the title." So this match is coming up next. It's going to be Trish Stratus and Mickie James for the WWE Women's title. Okay, and a half-decent match there. So Trish is the one who gets the win here with the Stratus faction, and that makes it defense number 1 of her WWE Women's title. So still a long way to go in this storyline. Again, battling low overness ratings and kind of a lot of work still needed to do to heat up this story. And we've got a couple of notes there. Our announcers as well don't have much experience together, so there's quite a few things working against us for some of these matches here. But I still think that's a pretty good rating for a start of where this angle really begins on this video game, as it is as their first confrontation together, and hopefully we can build things up from there. So decent match between these two, and we'll have to see where the story continues. And what do you know? It's continuing right now. So another good segment here. So Trish shuts down an excitable Mickie backstage and demands space between them, leaving Mickie crushed. So after the match, Mickie James still, even though she lost the match, kind of similar to real life, is still really happy that her and Trish had such a great match, such a competitive match. And Trish, at this point, has completely lost patience. So when Mickie approaches her backstage for a hug and trying to be friends again, Trish just she snaps at this point. She shut down Mickie, similar again to real life. We need space. And Mickie, this is it. This is finally the breakup between these two. And Mickie is really kind of distraught that Trish has kind of spurned her advances here. So some decent work here from these two. A good segment rating, and hopefully can heat up the story as we continue forward with the Trish and Mickie saga. Next segment there. Wow, that's a very high number. So Shawn Michaels calls out Triple H for no showing on Raw and accuses him of never giving back. So still backstage, Triple H we see here at the pay-per-view, kind of running around backstage with his pals, no doubt. And then Shawn Michaels comes up to him, calls him out in front of everyone. "Where were you on Raw last Monday? You said that you were going to be there. You were going to help me become the number 1 contender. We were going to be partners. We were going to get back together. DX reunion, whatever it is. You said you'd be there." And Triple H never showed up. And Triple H maybe is about to explain himself, but Shawn doesn't want to hear it. So Shawn kind of leaves Triple H looking, slightly flustered in front of everyone, and there you have it. He's accused Triple H of never giving back, and Triple H doesn't really have much of a comeback to this, and maybe left with a moment of thought to kind of take Shawn Michaels' words and kind of decipher their meaning. So great segment here, great drama, probably expected from these two elite class workers. So good stuff here. Lots of bonuses contributing to the rating, which is what we like to see. So there you have it. Shawn Michaels and Triple H Doesn't look like they're going to be forming a team anytime soon. But what will this lead to next time on Raw? We'll just have to wait and see. So there you are. Nice work from these two. Okay, and next we've got ourselves a tag team match. So this is Big Show and Kane, the current World Tag Team Champions, and they have defeated Carlito and Chris Masters in a tag team match. Kane there getting the choke slam with Big Show's help. So that is defense number 2 for Big Show and Kane here, the current World Tag Team Champions. Again, it was difficult to build much of a storyline to this one. It was, again, more a case of setting a foundation of our current champions. Big Show and Kane started the save as champions, so we're going to continue with them because they do have some momentum behind them, and essentially use them as kind of a foundation for the unification of the tag team championship story that I've kind of talked about before. So looks like a pretty decent performance from everyone involved on this one. And Chris Masters, despite being a step below the others, still put in a decent rating here. So decent match from this lot. So yeah, good stuff for our tag team division, hopefully, in the future. And then a quick bonus segment afterwards where we've got Carlito and Chris Masters arguing following their loss. So are they going to continue to be a tag team after this? We'll just have to see. But again, sowing some seeds for the chaos that is about to hit the tag team division that no one seems to be on the same page. So what could it lead to? We'll just have to wait and find out. Okay, in our next segment, we've got an inconsolable Mickie James who looks renewed after burning a photograph of Trish. So, as we remember earlier in the show, Mickie James challenged Trish Stratus for the Women's Championship, came up short in that match, and was quickly rejected by Trish after it as well. So Mickie here has taken a slightly different tack to what she did in the real-life storyline, and she has burned a photograph of Trish looking renewed after doing so. So what intentions does Mickie James have? Is that it for her and Trish, or is there more to come? We will just have to wait and see. So nice stuff there from Mick. Okay, and then it's John Cena in a promo here before his main event match, where he says he is ready for Kurt Angle next. So, to recap what little story we've got here, Kurt Angle won the number 1 contenders match last time on Raw, made him the challenger here for John Cena's WWE Championship, and at the end of that last episode of Raw, Angle and Cena brawled to the backstage after the match. After a great match. So this is it. This is the rematch, and this will be for the WWE Championship. It's coming up next. John Cena versus Kurt Angle. Who is going to win? Let's find out. Well, what do you know? It is Edge defeating John Cena and Kurt Angle in a 3-way match. Now, how did that happen? Well, that's because Edge was added to the match midway through, and I think we can all guess how that happened. So Edge, of course, was the Money in the Bank briefcase holder. He has joined the match midway through. John Cena, Kurt Angle, with a long technical match, no doubt, with lots of storytelling. And then at a point where they're both at their weakest, Edge, of course, makes the dramatic appearance, cashes in the Money in the Bank, and there you have it. Edge is your new WWE Champion. And as we continue to the next segment, there it is. What a way to end it. Vince McMahon comes out. He reclaims the Money in the Bank briefcase. And there it is. WWE Champion is now Edge, standing tall over John Cena and Kurt Angle. And that is it. So, Edge got all the momentum behind him at the moment. Him and Lita have done it. They have gotten Edge to the top of the mountain. Similar to real life. He has cashed in the briefcase. He is now your new WWE Champion, leaving John Cena and Kurt Angle in the dirt. What does this mean for the future of the Raw brand? We'll have to tune in next time to find out. So, great stuff here from Edge, John Cena, and Kurt Angle, with Vince reclaiming the Money in the Bank briefcase. There is no more Money in the Bank holder. This is it. WWE Champion is now Edge, and we are now in the rated R era, one would assume. So, that's it for New Year's Revolution 2006. And as we finish up, we got a rating of 69. So not the best rating, as expected. There were quite a lot of segments here that suffered due to the low overness and kind of the low heat of the storylines. But overall, still a fairly decent rating, considering, again, I was really treating this as like an extended episode of Raw with some feature matches sprinkled in. Hopefully, this will make a solid foundation to build towards the Royal Rumble 2006, where we can get these storylines in order, get our workers ready, heated up for hopefully a much better show. So that is it. Sunday week 1 of January 2006. This was New Year's Revolution 2006. And we have a new WWE champion in Edge. They'll hopefully take this federation into the new year with a hot new storyline. So, hope you enjoyed it. My name's been Alex. As always, don't subscribe, don't share, like, or any of that. Just have a nice day, and hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.